Hi, everybody. Welcome to our session. Thank you for attending at the Shine Leadership Conference. My name is Sarah Johnson. I'm the Sustainability Program Analyst in the Institute for Sustainability at CSUN. Today, we're going to be talking to you about sustainability, how to make a positive impact on campus and beyond.
Thanks, Sarah. My name is Nikhil Schneider. I'm the Energy and Sustainability Coordinator here at CSUN. So just starting off with, we'd like to take a stab at defining sustainability. So there are a lot of different definitions for sustainability, but the most commonly accepted one, and the one that we use, is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And we typically think of these as, environmental needs, so clean air, clean water, food, shelter, transportation, healthcare, things like that. But unless you're living off the grid completely, you're probably buying a lot of these things, right? Which means you have economic needs as well. Employment, education to increase your access to employment, things like that. And then unless you're spending all of your time eating, sleeping, and working, you have social needs as well. So entertainment, belonging, things of that nature. And so we refer to these things, these three things, so environment, economy, and society, as the three pillars of sustainability. So no system, whether it's a food system, transportation system, or what have you, no system is considered truly sustainable unless it's environmentally regenerative, economically feasible, and socially equitable. So why is sustainability so difficult to achieve? Well, one of the major challenges to environmental sustainability, at least, would be climate change. Due to rising CO2 levels from human activity, you can see in that graph down at the bottom how quickly they've risen in the last 50 years. We're now seeing the impacts of climate change. So longer wildfire and hurricane seasons, more severe wildfires and hurricanes and other storms, more flooding, longer droughts, global temperature and sea level rise. All those things are impacts of climate change, and they are going to continue to get worse. Another sustainability environmental challenge would be plastic pollution, massive amounts of plastic entering the environment, especially the oceans due to humans as well. That is having an impact on seabirds and other marine wildlife, as well as our own food systems. Thirdly would be economic crises. So things such as the 2008 economic downturn, inflation, and other unemployment challenges from COVID we're currently seeing. Those are obviously going to impact our ability to sustain ourselves long term. And then lastly would be racism and social inequity. So going even beyond police brutality and the racism that we're seeing manifested in today. There's other social inequity as well in terms of power plants. For example, you often see power plants in low-income neighborhoods, communities of color, things like that. And people in those neighborhoods are hospitalized for asthma at much higher rates than people outside of those neighborhoods. So now that's an additional healthcare burden that you're piling on top of your already disadvantaged citizens. Sustainability is going to be harder to achieve when parts of your society are marginalized or bear a bigger burden. Next slide. So addressing sustainability at CSUN, we have a lot of different strategies through which we work towards sustainability. We have a sustainability plan that I'll go into in a little bit more detail, a climate action plan, which sets the goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2040. We currently emit about 60,000 metric tons of greenhouse gases each year, with half of that coming from just our commuting. So students, faculty, and staff driving to and from the campus. Luckily, since we established our climate action plan, so that commuting falls under scope 3 emissions, and we've reduced our scope 3 emissions by about 36%, which is amazing, but we still have a long way to go. Also, I mentioned plastic pollution earlier, so CSUN is working to achieve zero waste. Our goal is to have a 95% reduction in our landfill material by the year 2025, and we're currently down 46%, so about halfway there, which is awesome. And then, of course, because you can't change what you can't measure, we report all of this progress annually and through a number of different avenues. One would be our greenhouse gas inventory, which happens each year. We do an update to the sustainability plan each year, which you can find on our website. And we also fill out an ASHE STARS report. So that's the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. It's a very comprehensive sustainability report. And if you are super interested and want to read it, you can Google CSUN ASHE STARS and find that report that we submitted. We also have dashboards that you can view online that show our utility consumption as well as our waste generation at different points across campus. So these are the 10 different areas of our sustainability plan. So just to kind of give you an idea of the number of different things that we're working on. One of the more exciting things that happened recently was with our water meters. We installed some smart water meters that give us readings every 5 minutes, via an online portal. And through that, we actually received alerts that there was really high usage occurring, and that let us identify a leak and save thousands of gallons of water that we never would have noticed if we hadn't installed those meters. Another thing that we're doing is lighting upgrades right now. So we've replaced all of the outdoor walkway lights throughout campus with LED lights that use about 75% less power and emit more light, so it's safer at night. And then you're also, the campus is saving about $10,000 a year in electricity bills. So we're going to be expanding those LED retrofits as well moving forward. But those are just kind of a quick snapshot of some of the things we're working on. Sarah, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Nikhil. So as I mentioned, I work in the Institute, and we are a university-wide department, and we focus on education outside of the classroom. So we work very closely with faculty and students to help offer and provide educational opportunities that supplement what students are learning in the classroom. So we do offer internships and service learning opportunities. Obviously, those are greatly reduced right now due to COVID, but we still do always have opportunities available. So please reach out to us if you are interested. We also have a food garden on campus. And so if you visited the food garden, we're close to housing by the Northridge Academy High School. And if you've actually utilized the food pantry, most of the fresh fruit and produce that you receive from the food pantry is grown at the garden. So you just know by receiving that food that you're getting very local, organic, fresh produce that was actually grown by students on campus. So that's pretty cool. We do have a sustainability minor. So this is currently the best academic option for students interested in sustainability because we don't have a bachelor's degree. And so this minor, it pairs really well with any degree program that you're in because it's just 18 units. And so there's 3 courses that are electives that most students actually meet through their GE anyway. So it's usually just 3 additional courses for students. And then this really helps build your resume and provide that extra edge when you're applying for jobs after graduation. We also, we talk about education, and so we provide a lot of resources and events for students, faculty, and staff to learn about sustainability. Most of those events right now, or all of them, are virtual, but so you can visit our website and our YouTube page. We've recorded all of the sessions that we've offered recently. We also have a lot of upcoming events coming up this fall and spring, so check out our events page. We also have resources about all of the 10 areas that we mentioned in our sustainability plan. So if there's one of those areas that you're interested in, you can visit our website to get more information about how you can help in any of those areas. So as a student leader, we talk a lot about how you're really leading by example, right? So when you have an impact to make a big difference or opportunity to make a big difference to students. And so they see the conversations that you're having, they see the behaviors that you're doing. And so by doing these things, you're really communicating to other students that this is a value for you. And then it really does try to start to change the culture of the campus community to value sustainability. So you really do have an impact to opportunity to impact a great audience of students on campus. And so we made this slide to show different things you can do as an individual and just different ways to change the system. And so if you look at this as a continuum, the items on the left are easier, more one-time things you can do, and then they get progressively more time-consuming or difficult as you move across the continuum. So most people hopefully already do this, but you can bring a reusable water bottle. This is something, it's a one-time purchase that, may cost a little bit more upfront, but it pays for itself pretty quickly because bottled water is so unnecessarily expensive. And so by buying one of these and then bringing it with you, you have that resource with you everywhere you go. Also, if you have roommates, you can shop in bulk, which is actually generally cheaper. And then you reduce your waste that way too. And then if you live somewhere in an apartment or something where you can control the thermostat, if you just move it up 1 or 2 degrees in the summer and down 1 or 2 degrees in the winter, you actually can save a lot on your heating and cooling bills, and then you're reducing your emissions as well. So that's another great way to have a positive impact. And then I kind of touched on this, but just refusing packaging in general. So if you're somewhere where you can decline a bag, you can decline single-use utensils, wherever you are, if the person working there is handing you an unnecessary single-use item, it's very easy just to say, oh, no, thank you, I don't need it, I have my own. And then you're, reducing your waste in that way too. Another thing that you can do, hopefully you use all of the food that you purchase. But if you have food that you forgot about or just didn't get to use it, you can compost that food, and that's really easy to do. We actually have resources on our website about composting. If that's something you're interested in, check that out. And then if you're, another really impactful thing you can do is just be a conscious consumer. If you have something that breaks or you think you need something, really just try to think intentionally about it. Do I need this item? Do I have something else that will serve the same purchase? Do I have something that can be repaired? Is this something I could borrow from someone? So really, instead of having that mindless consumerism, just trying to think before you buy is really impactful as well. And then you may know that meat actually takes a lot of resources to grow, a lot of water, and there's a lot of emissions associated with meat. And so if you try to have a plant-based diet, even if it's one meal a day or one day a week, like try to stick with meatless Mondays. If you're reducing the amount of meat that you eat, you're having a positive impact on the environment that way as well. And the last thing you can do is just taking public transportation. So as I said, this one is a little bit more commitment involved, a little more time consuming, but that you save a ton of money as well if you can, try to just ride a bike or take the bus wherever you go.
Thanks, Sarah. So things you can do as a student leader will also, as Sarah mentioned, have a trickle-down impact. And whether you're, organizing an event or a meeting, you do have a lot of opportunities to make more sustainable choices. Probably the easiest of these would be to promote things digitally. So instead of producing a bunch of yard signs or flyers that are going to be thrown away once they're viewed, sticking to only digital promotion. And it is harder to reach audiences that way, without doing that in-person promotion. But that's a really impactful, simple strategy. Also promoting alternative transit options, so informing people how to access your meeting or event via bicycle or via public transit instead of sending everyone a whole bunch of parking instructions for how to park on CSUN, especially with how difficult that already is. Making sure that your attendees have the opportunity to compost, recycle, or put dispose of landfill material at your event. Making sure you're not ordering a whole bunch of extra food as well. And then you don't need maybe 30 box lunches, right, where everyone has their own little packaged sandwich and packaged chips and packaged cookie all in a box with their single-use fork and knife and whatnot. Just do things buffet style, and you'll eliminate so much garbage. So that you're not paying for that garbage, and also you're more likely to end up with the right amount of food for people. Whenever you do have food, leftover food, you can donate that through CSUN's Food Recovery Network. That's a student organization that partners with on-campus dining as well as events to ensure that the leftover edible food can be donated to those in need. And then, devote a couple of moments or minutes of your meeting or your event to inform attendees about sustainability. Talk about, why you have 3 stream bins at your event and how to use them. Just let them know that sustainability is something that you're thinking about. Figure out how to reuse signage and decorations. Maybe don't print the date and time on everything so that you can use it again next year. Making sure that your giveaways are durable and useful, and aren't just going to sit in somebody's junk drawer until they throw it away a year later. We all probably have enough pens, right? We don't need more pens with little CSUN things printed on the side. And then lastly, as Sarah mentioned, having a plant-based menu. People tend to expect animal products whenever food is provided for them. But a plant-based menu is more inclusive, it's more accessible to people who don't eat pork or who are vegan or vegetarian or for whatever reason. And it's going to have a much lower, environmental impact from a water standpoint, greenhouse gas emissions, things like that. And then as a community member, you can go, a few steps further, right? So getting informed about local sustainability issues, using that information you have to make decisions on how you vote, encouraging others to vote and sharing information with them that'll let them make informed decisions. Joining a student organization is a great way to get involved at a local level and towards whatever mission or cause that you want to support. We have a lot of different student orgs on campus. Contacting a representative, that's as simple as sending an email or making a phone call, Googling who that representative might be. And then suddenly your voice has been heard, right, by your elected official. Research companies whenever you're buying things so that you know what it is that you're supporting, and then decide whether or not you want to support that as well. Getting involved in student government, this one's starting to get more challenging here, but there are things that would not have happened at CSUN without the support of our student government, or things that happen much faster because Associated Students passed a resolution of support, from the Student Senate. So don't underestimate the power that you have as a student to impact change at CSUN. And then, most difficult, participating in local politics, and then being active in a local campaign, finding a candidate that you want and helping them win, right? So this slide is titled Change the System, and these are a lot of things that you can do, kind of as an individual or in different roles. And you might think that it's just, totally beyond you to be able to change the system, right? And it's up to the politicians and the mega corporations to do that. And if if you're thinking along those lines, right, then you're probably at least voting. But what if you got to vote, 10 or 20 times a day for what type of world you wanted to live in? And really, the way I see it, you do have that opportunity, right? Every dollar you spend is a vote of support for the systems that deliver that product. So if you're buying, a variety pack of 50 smaller bags of chips, right, you're voting for more packaging. If you're driving your car every single day, you're voting for more fossil fuels, and you're voting in support of fossil fuels and things like that. So really, think about the power you have as a consumer to change the systems that you participate in and not participate in the systems that you don't want to participate in or you don't want to support. So yeah, there's a lot of different options that you have, a lot of different ways to take action. Hopefully you'll feel inspired to take some of those opportunities. And with that, say, thank you all for joining us today. We've got our contact info on the left. You can subscribe to CSUN's sustainability newsletter, follow us on social media, and we put out a blog post about every month. Just what's going on campus in terms of sustainability. So a lot of different ways to connect with us, and thank you all for tuning in. Anything to add, Sarah?
Thank you. I appreciate your time. And as Nikhil said, we really are here to serve you. And so please reach out. We love partnering with students, and you guys have a lot of great ideas, and we'd love to work together on some sustainability initiatives at CSUN.